All right. Welcome, Aloe Blacc, to WFPK's First Cut. Great to have you today. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Are you how are you dealing with the pandemic?
All right. As good as one can. I've got two little kids, and we've just been, sheltering in place when the city tells us to, going out to parks and doing hikes, staying safe with our masks. And I've been doing little projects like turning the boiler room into a man cave.
The boiler room, you say?
Yeah, well, this was used to be the hot water room, the hot water tank, and then we got a tankless hot water system, and so I just converted into my little recording booth.
Nice. So that's what the black panels are behind you? Is that all for soundproofing?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's nice. You mentioned you have two kids. I think wasn't this latest album, All Love Everything, inspired by being a dad?
absolutely. All of everything is literally about everything that I love. My kids, my wife, my parents, my friends. And I wanted to use this opportunity to speak to togetherness, connection, compassion, and tell stories that I hadn't told on other albums.
It's a beautiful album.
Thank you so much.
Yes, really nice. Okay, so I'm going to ask you some firsts. For example, what was the first record you fell in love with?
Wow. I'd say the first record I fell in love with was a song called Double Dutch Bus by Frankie Smith.
Hmm.
Um, Back then, my sister and I had a little Fisher Price record player, and we literally had vinyl, and we had this 45 of the Double Dutch Bus, which was a funky groove by Frankie Smith, and something that could go along the lines of the funk that the Commodores made, or that Earth, Wind and Fire, or the Gap Band made. But that was one of those really special, rare cuts.
Did you have a special dance for it, you and your
Oh
sibling?
wow, I probably did. I know my sister. My sister was always making me uh, engage in the music with her in some way. So there's probably a special dance to it.
What was the first song you learned on an instrument?
Um, Certainly, it was hot cross buns. But in terms of actual songs that I liked to listen to and play, um, there was a song that I learned in middle school called The Russian Sailor's Dance. It's from a Russian play called The Red Poppy. And it always had a really tremendous effect on me. And I eventually used it as and interpolated it to make one of my biggest hits called The Man. So there's the melody, the main melody in the song that repeats over and over again becomes the main melody in the musical backing of my hit The Man.
What was the first instrument that you played?
First instrument I played was the trumpet.
Oh,
And
really?
so, because this particular song was very brass heavy with the melody, it had that impact on me.
Do you still play trumpet?
I, I am no, I don't. I wouldn't say that I do because um, trumpet requires a lot of practice and maintenance of your embouchure, but I do use it every once in a while to record. So I wouldn't play it live on stage.
You're a really good singer, Aloe. When did you realize you could sing?
Um, it took a few years for me to realize that I could sing. I was a hip hop artist when I started making and recording music. I would use my voice melodically during choruses and hooks, and it wasn't until my mid 20s that I felt like I was doing anything significant as a singer, and I got signed to a record label as a singer.
I don't, I don't, I guess when I think of you, I don't think of you necessarily as a hip hop artist, even though that's how you started out.
Mhm.
How would you, how would you describe yourself as a musician? Like a lot of people would say, I'm a hip hop artist or I'm folk, or how would you do it?
I would say I'm a folk soul artist who masks my art in pop music. So because I write folk soul, I just dress it up with pop production, and then um, sort of navigate the industry that way.
Yeah, that works. What was the first song you wrote?
It was a hip hop tune, a rap song. I thought that I was the West Coast version of LL Cool J when I was 9 years old. So I would write rap songs that sounded like his. And it didn't have a title, but it was something very similar to Mama Said Knock You Out at 9 years old. And then, as I got older, I started writing songs that were more, when I was making the transformation from rap to singing, I wrote a song called Blue Yesterday, and I must have been in my mid-teens, and I was just trying to write a ballad, like a ballad love song.
Do you remember the words to it?
Oh, wow. I remember Blue Yesterday. I don't remember it that well, actually. It really wasn't that good of a song. It was something like Blue Yesterday. Da, 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 da. And I tried to have my sister sing it because at the time my sister was the singer of the family. But that went nowhere, really.
What was the first song you wrote that you were proud enough to record?
First song that I wrote that I was proud enough to record. Again, that would be a hip hop song. But in terms of as a vocalist, what people know me for, I fell in love with Sam Cooke's Change Is Gonna Come. And I was literally recording a hip hop album. I had 15 tracks finished, and there was a 16th track, an instrumental that I had no idea what to write to it. So I decided I would just sing Sam Cooke's Change Is Gonna Come over this hip hop track. That's the one that ended up getting me signed to my first deal as a vocalist.
I love stories like that because you take this creative chance and it's spontaneous. It's not as thought out as all these other things. And then that's the one, that people respond to, that everybody gravitates toward it. It's just a neat, it's really wild how that happens. What was the first Heartache song you connected with?
Well, I don't know if the song qualifies as Heartache, but I certainly used it as my my Heartache song. It was by Quincy Jones had put together this amazing group of singers. I want to say Barry White, I'll Be Sure, El DeBarge. I know I'm missing a name. Maybe James Ingram. But it was a song called The Secret Garden. And it was a love song. It wasn't a heartbreak song. But I had, a crush on this girl in elementary school. And then the summer came and I'd never expressed to her my affection. And I felt like I had missed my moment forever. And so, the last day of school, I was at home listening to that song and just bawling, just crying tears, thinking like, I'll never be able to tell her how I feel. And it's kind of dramatic for a young elementary school kid, but that was me.
You were romantic at heart, even then. Have you ever met Quincy Jones?
I luckily have had the opportunity to meet Quincy Jones and have a few conversations with him. He's a wonderful man.
I'm such a fan. He's so brilliant.
Yeah,
have you ever, so you haven't worked with Quincy though?
I haven't. And whenever people ask me who I want to collaborate with, I always mention Quincy. He's at the top of my list because he's just brilliant. I'd love to have the opportunity to see how his mind works in a songwriting situation.
Oh, that would have been a great collaboration. What was the first artist that you were obsessed with or greatly admired?
As a youngster, I'd say it was Michael Jackson. The dancing, the music, the costuming, all of it was just, entertainment at its finest. And it really made a dramatic impact on me in terms of wanting to experience music in more than just the spectator's position.
So it made you want to be a singer yourself, or to
You know,
aspire to?
that, but also the dancing. You know, Michael Jackson would dance a lot, all the time, actually. And so at the time when I was young, breakdancing was popular, and some of his moves incorporated breakdancing moves. So that helped me to engage in music beyond just being a listener. Like now, my body is interpreting the music, and then I eventually got into rapping, so participating as a vocalist, or at least as a writer.
Do you have a favorite Michael Jackson song?
Well, there's so many. I think there are some of the Jackson 5 songs that I really, really love. But Michael Jackson solo would be many of the songs from his Off the Wall album. That's the album that I feel means the most to me, even though it was the album that was present when I was a youngster was the Bad album,
Mm-hmm.
and the one prior to that, which was Thriller. Those were like the present at my youth, and I think Off the Wall was just like when I was probably a toddler or preemie. But yeah, Off the Wall.
And I think Quincy Jones, didn't he produce that record?
Yeah, he produced all the way up to just after Thriller, which was, I can't remember.
Bad, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah, Bad.
Yeah, he recorded. Yeah, Quincy Jones. My God.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of the first band you played with?
First band I played with was called Emanon. That was my hip hop group. Me and DJ Exile. I met him when I was 15 years old. He was looking for a rapper who could record to the beats that he was making, and we've been friends ever since, and we continue to make music together.
It was called Emanon?
Emanon, it's no name backwards. Emanon was also the name of a Dizzy Gillespie song that he didn't have a name for, so he called it Emanon, and I stole the name.
I love it. So what record are you listening to now that you're really loving?
There are a lot of rare grooves that I get into. My dad and mom are from Panama. They listen to a lot of calypso, reggae, merengue, salsa, this kind of music. But in Panama, they were part of a cohort of Caribbean blacks who brought those sounds to Panama, plus admired the soul sounds from the United States. So there's a lot of soul music that could be like, Smokey Robinson in Spanish, or Marvin Gaye in Spanish. And so there are some songs right now that I'm listening to. One of them is called Algo Muy Profundo, something very special, that has really captivated my attention. I'm kind of reminiscing on my youth, where my dad would, play the record and sing all through the house.
What's the most recent song you've learned to play?
It would be my own song. So I'm not the most accomplished musician. I learned trumpet, piano, and guitar just to be able to write songs. So in order to play my own songs, I really have to dig in. And I learned how to play the first single from my new album. It's called I Do. It was a ballad that I wrote for my relationship with my wife, our 10-year anniversary.
Nice. Happy anniversary. What would be a Heartache song you would go to now?
Heartache song I would go to now. You know what? I think about Joni Mitchell's California. It feels like a Heartache song. She's longing for, coming back to California, where she had moved to after however many other cities she'd been to. But I know she's from Canada. It's just one of those, her voice always feels like it's sincere. And I don't know that, like I said, it's not a love song, lovelorn song, but I think I'd play that one.
Mm-hmm. What would be a song that you would go to that lifts you up and would get you out, out of a funk, out of a bad mood?
Yeah, songs that always lift me up. It's going to be something that's energetic from Stevie Wonder. I would say Sir Duke or I Wish or something like Superstition. Sir Duke always does it for sure.
Yeah. Well, Aloe, those are the questions, and that's the questions for the first cut. And I appreciate you so much for spending some time with us and telling us about all these first loves of yours. It's great.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.